everyone, welcome back to another Waffle Wednesday. I'm sure this isn't offending anybody. In today's video we're going to be making, supposed to say brownies. I don't know, I don't know how those guys do that. We're going to be making a waffle brownie. I'm quite proud of this. Is a recipe I've made up myself. You guys asked for it, it's in the comments. I know it's just me asking for it in my own video, but regardless, we're making a waffle brownie today. As always, you guys are going to need your handy dandy waffle iron, which you just summon by magic. Just do a little click in the point and it appears. But you're also going to need a saucepan. That one doesn't appear by magic. And our other tool is going to be your tablespoon and also teaspoon. Okay, these two things are two different volumes within these metal instruments. So once you've got those, you're going to need some ingredients. You're going to need some dark chocolate. You're going to need white sugar, brown sugar, oil. You're going to need some vanilla essence. You want some ground linseed. None of this pure unground stuff. You're gonna have to find a way to grind that up. You want some clean water. You want some flour, cocoa powder, some coffee mix. I tend to use decaf just because I hate the effects that caffeine has on me. And you're going to need some salt. So once you have all that, I'm going to talk about the volumes that you're going to put in for this recipe and how you mix it up. Right, so at the beginning, you're going to get your linseed, grind it if it's whole. If it's already ground, that's fine. Get a teaspoon of that and a tablespoon of water, chuck them into something and just mix them up and let that sit. We're going to come back to that, okay? Just bookmark that. That's like an interesting side character in a TV show that you watch. We're going to come back and check out what he's up to later. That's a side story. And next you're going to get 4 pieces of that chocolate, maybe a whole row, or if you want to do exact measurements, 20 grams of chocolate. Chuck it into your saucepan and melt that down. While that's melting, you want to add in 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and your 2 tablespoons of oil. And then add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence into that mix. Melt that all together in the pot, stir it all up, and you start to get like this dark, chocolatey sort of liquid. Okay, that's good, you want that. Turn off the heat, and then we're ready to add some powder into this. So we're going to add 2.5 tablespoons of flour. I just use plain white flour, that's fine. And then 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. And then I add half a teaspoon of coffee powder into that as well to mix it up. It will start to get a little bit dry, and that's when you go back to, remember that guy? That linseed and water guy? Chuck him in there as well and mix that all up together. If it needs a little bit more moisture, add a little bit more, and you kind of want it to be the consistency of a really thick plaster or something like that. And then once you've got that all mixed up, go get your old waffle iron. Normally I'm a fan of preheating this while you're doing everything. This time we're going to go in Stone Cold Steve Austin. So pop it onto the grill or stove or fire pit or whatever, but you're putting it on cold. Give it a light oil on both the plates so that it's got a little bit of lubricant, and chuck that plastery mix in there. Use a scraper or something to scrape it out nice and thin so that it's nicely stretched out, and then turn the heat on a medium heat. And now you just cook it, and this is where it gets very exact because you don't want to burn it. Normally when you're cooking a brownie, you're cooking it in an oven and you're cooking it for 45 minutes. So you kind of want to emulate that a little bit with going with a low heat rather than a high heat, and letting it sort of cook a little bit. But again, this is more direct heat, it's more intense than an oven, so you don't want to put it in for that long. So we're going to cook it for 2 minutes on the first side, flip it over and cook it for 3 minutes on the other side. And then once you've done that, you can turn the heat off and you let it sit for a few minutes as well, just as it cools down. What you should be able to do at this point to test it out is you should be able to fully open up that side with no sticking, or minimal sticking. Flip it over, open it up on the other side. It's locked. Open it up on the other side and it should do the same thing. If it's doing that, it lets you know that your waffle is pretty much free to do what it wants any old time. Now it means that the waffle has successfully cooked to a point where it's not going to break up, it's not sticking to the plates, and then you just get your old regular plate, do the old switcheroo, and you got your waffle out. At that point, it's waffle time, baby. You want to make sure you cook it for exactly 3 minutes on one side and then exactly 2 minutes on the other at the exact right heat. If you do this wrong and you open it up, it'll all stick to one side or the other of the pan, and at this point you've ruined it. You know, there's no going back. You can't eat chocolate. It'll kill you. Yes, it will. It'll kill you. You can't eat chocolate because you're a dog. Yes, you are. You're a dog, aren't you? You can't have this one. No, you can't have this one. You can't have this one. Play a dangerous waiting game, waiting for this to get to the exact temperature. The exact temperature, the exact consistency. Did you just throw up? In the middle of my monologue? Violet, what are you doing? The chemical composition of the sugar has changed. As you can see, it is now leaking out the side of the pan along with some oil. You can tell that the waffle inside has expanded thanks to the baking soda, and it is nearly cooked. We're getting to crunch time. The brownie is now beginning to seep through. Okay, so I'm a bit nervous. We're going to do the check that I mentioned before and just see if this thing is going to stick. Okay, so I went with 2.5 tablespoons of flour. I probably should have gone with 3. So what we're going to do is just bang it down, disrupt it a little bit, and we have a presentation side. So not all is lost. Maybe one side was a little bit better seasoned than the other, which means that I'm going to use this other side, flip it back over, see if I've dislodged that as well, because it can reset, you know, if it's all bumped out. Nope, it's staying in there. So we half got there. So I'm going to take that bit out. With a spoon later on, I'll sadly, you know, eat these little bits out of here. That's unfortunate, but we do have the nice presentation side. So I'm going to grab our plate. We're going to get our waffle and we're going to do this and then quickly flip it on over, give it a shake, and out she pops, just like that. A little bit less than what it would have been if it had both sides, unfortunately, but still nice nonetheless. So we'll let it cool a little bit further so we get it to a point where we can actually cut this thing up, and then we'll decorate it, plate it up. You ain't getting any of it, Violet. It gives you cancer. It's like smoking for dogs. Alright, so the brownie is now done. You might smell a bit of smoke, you might see a bit of smoke curling up, but that's not anything to be too alarmed about. This one is tipped out the side a little bit, so the bits that are dripping under the pan did get a little bit crispy, but it's just like the edge of a brownie, you know? We're gonna let this sit. It's still got a little bit of cooking to do, just to sort of settle. You don't want to just, you know, you don't take a brownie out of the oven and cut it straight up. So we're gonna give it maybe 5 minutes in the pan, just to simmer down. My dog is drooling over this one. She ain't getting a bite of it. The other thing with this recipe is it is a single brownie recipe, and that's twofold. One is that you have to wait for the pan to completely cool down again if you want to make a second one. So in that time, there's enough time, if you're wanting to share, to make another batch of brownie and to cook that one. And 2, this is my little secret, I'm waiting for my family to all go to sleep. I'm gonna eat this by myself because I'm that type of person. I'm greedy. I don't care. I'm happy to share that with you guys. This one's all mine. So at this point you can pretty much decorate your waffle brownie any way you like. I'm going to give you a couple of tips. This is how I like to do it. Cut it in half, cut it into quarters, put 2 of those quarters onto a plate with a smear of peanut butter on top. You are near. Just and chuck on some ice cream. Your boy doesn't fuck around with ice cream. Close to you. Why do stars fall from the sky every time you walk by? Just like and then on top of that, a nice drizzle of some salted caramel sauce. On the day that you were born. And that is just awkward eating part now. Bon appetit. That's damn good. A little bit more flour. Do 3 tablespoons of flour. I'm gonna redact my instructions. 3 tablespoons of flour for this for sure. It's nice and chewy, soft in the middle, and you know, I think that the other half will actually hold up quite well and still be edible in the morning if I can't finish this all in one sitting. That's just amazing. Goes really well with the peanut butter. It's really rich as well, so you don't need too much. You could effectively make one, split it amongst 4 people as well. So, just giving you guys ideas. No need to thank me. Violet, what are you doing? You know, I can't feed this to you in front of the viewers because they'll know it's animal abuse, even though it tastes so damn good. You know I can't. You know I cannot give this to you. No matter how much you plead, I cannot. I cannot. Do not, no, don't look at me like that. Okay, alright, here you go. Here's one for you, okay? Here's one, come here. There you go. There you go, good girl. Good girl, you're gonna die soon. You're definitely gonna die soon. No animals were harmed in making this video. Tune in next time for the waffle equivalent of Jesus Christ himself. I'm not gonna do that, but thanks for watching. Stay tuned. More Waffle Wednesday coming to you next month's Wednesday, one of the Wednesdays in October. Stay tuned. See you guys later.
I wanna taste your content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell.